Okay, so most of you have probably already heard about this.
President Trump says he's pardoning Congressman Henry Cuellar, the Democrat, and his wife both face federal charges on a bribery and conspiracy indictment. Both have denied wrongdoing.
But if you missed the news, Trump just a few days ago pardoned Henry Cuellar, a Texas Democrat in the House of Representatives indicted under the Biden administration for accepting a lot of money in foreign bribes. Cuellar has been rather kind to Trump and his administration for quite a while now and has a very bipartisan voting record in Congress, and Trump seems to have returned the favor to him by pardoning a man who is allegedly guilty of bribery. Birds of a feather, I suppose. But the story has taken a rather interesting turn. Cuellar has just filed his paperwork to run for re-election as a Democrat after receiving this pardon, and Trump isn't too happy about it. He took to Truth Social this morning and wrote one of his very famous paragraphs at this point, attacking Cuellar and even calling him not loyal, which sounds super fishy. Trump practically admitting there that he pardoned Cuellar so that he could run as a Republican or maybe not even run at all, and yet here is Cuellar giving the bird to Trump and basically saying, no, I'm going to run as a Democrat anyway. So if you want to hear all about this insane post from Donald Trump, Cuellar's response, and some reactions from online, be sure to stick around until the end of the video. And don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the Raw America YouTube channel. We'd really appreciate it. All right, let's jump in. So let's quickly get up to speed here. Cuellar was indicted by the Biden administration for accepting foreign bribes.
I want to be very clear on the crime that Henry Cuellar and his wife were indicted on and convicted on. So, this was back in May in 2024. Both Cuellar and his wife were charged with accepting nearly $600,000 in bribes from two foreign entities. That's according to the indictment in a federal court in Texas. So we'll have to see where this comes from.
Cuellar was also facing an investigation by Trump's DOJ earlier this year until Donald Trump pardoned Cuellar just a few days ago, arguing that Cuellar was unjustly a victim of the Biden administration and they were targeting their political enemies and weaponizing the justice system.
In this case, he said that the Biden administration was targeting his political opponents by ousting, in the president's words, the former Texas Democrat Henry Cuellar. Now, I'm going to read for you just some of what the president said. He said, I am hereby announcing my full and unconditional pardon of beloved Texas Congressman Henry Cuellar and Imelda Cuellar is his wife. He said, I don't know you, but you can sleep well tonight. Your nightmare is finally over.
So that's pretty much it. You're caught up. Trump pardoned a Texas Democrat, claiming it was because he felt that Cuellar was targeted by Biden's DOJ unjustly, but Trump seems to have taken a different tone today when Cuellar announced that he will be running for re-election in Texas as a Democrat. Trump posted on Truth Social one of his essays, so we're going to go through it together right now to look at the highlights. So Trump starts off his post writing, can you imagine? The Democrats under the crooked Joe Biden administration, who always use extreme force to jail time to destroy their political opponents, wanted to put Congressman Henry Cuellar and his wife, Imelda, in prison for 15 years, which I predicted these radical left lunatics would do, and they never stopped wanting to fulfill this evil quest. Okay, I think they wanted to put the guy in prison because he accepted foreign bribes, but that's beside the point. Let's move on. The Dems mercilessly went after Henry with everything they had. They were looking to destroy him, his lovely wife, his two young daughters, and anyone close to them. When the Democrats overwhelmingly lost the 2024 presidential election, and power with it, they, regardless, did everything they could to keep going after the Cuellar family. Again, they went after the guy because he was a bad egg. He was a Democrat that was found to be accepting foreign bribes. That's not a great look, and they probably wanted to get him out of the party, unlike the Republicans, which would have taken someone like that, right? It's practically their playbook at this point. But again, moving on. The Dems were vicious, and all because Henry strongly wanted correctly border security, in all caps, of course. He was against illegals pouring into our country, totally unchecked and unvetted. The congressman didn't want gang members, drug dealers, violent prisoners, people from mental institutions, and yes, even murderers in the good old USA. Okay, putting aside the fact that that is just a blatant lie that most immigrants coming into the country are criminals of any kind, this is ridiculous, right? The Biden DOJ wouldn't go after a guy because he, disagreed with their policy. A lot of Democrats are super anti-immigration in the first place. Biden wasn't the best at it either. So what are you even talking about that this is the argument here? This is such a thinly veiled cover-up of what actually is going on here, and I think we'll get to the point pretty soon. But what are you talking about here, dude? The Democrats were getting rid of him because he committed a crime, not because he was against immigration or anything like that. And even if he was, okay, the Democrats are going for a certain agenda about immigration, and this guy is pushing against it, and he did something illegal. bit of column A, bit of column B, it doesn't really matter here, dude. It was very unfair what they were doing to him and his family, so much so that his daughters wrote me a beautiful letter about their parents. Okay, so Trump here spends the first half of the post rambling on and on about Cuellar and being backstabbed and betrayed by the crooked Democrats to put him in prison and all that jazz. But Trump argues that Cuellar was the target of the Biden and the Democrats because of his ideology, being a strong proponent of border security and being against immigration in the country along the southern border of Texas. Trump believes they were treated badly and it was unfair for them to be treated this way, maybe because Trump thinks that corruption is just super normal and just the way of life and doesn't get why someone would, prosecute someone for doing corruption because he's just so used to it at this point, I guess. But either way, Trump grants the pardon and then he writes this. After reading it, I decided in the interest of justice and based on the daughter's loving request that I would give Henry and Imelda a full and complete pardon. I never spoke to the congressman, his wife, or his daughters, but I felt very good about fighting for a family that was tormented by very sick and deranged people. They were treated so badly, all caps. I signed the papers and said to the people in the Oval Office that I just did a very good, perhaps life-saving thing. Oh my God, dude. He cannot go 1 second without trying to make himself seem like a saint. It's ridiculous. He then continues, God was very happy with me that day. Trump, you know that God is not happy with you. You've even admitted on camera to that fact.
I don't think there's anything going to get me in heaven. Okay, I really don't. I think I'm not maybe heaven bound. I may be in heaven right now as we fly in Air Force One. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make heaven.
Yeah, dude, it's over for you when you die. Hope you like fire and brimstone. But moving on to the last part of the post, Trump writes this. Then it happened, all caps. God, I kind of do love it. It's like he's in a noir or like a telenovela or something. And then it happened. Oh my goodness. Only a short time after signing the pardon, Congressman Henry Cuellar announced that he will be running for Congress again in the great state of Texas, a state where I received the highest number of votes ever recorded. Okay. As a Democrat, continuing to work with the same radical left scum that just weeks before wanted him and his wife to spend the rest of their lives in prison, and probably still do. Such a lack of loyalty, something that Texas voters and Henry's daughters will not like. Oh well, next time, no more Mr. Nice Guy, President Donald J. Trump. Okay, so the main part here that I want to focus on is the line where Trump says, such a lack of loyalty. Loyalty? Loyalty? What do you mean loyalty? I thought you did this because he was being mistreated by the Democrats and that you were delivering justice in the proper way by pardoning him because he did nothing wrong, which, I mean, come on, yes he did. But regardless, you're asking him for his loyalty? Trump is just blatantly admitting here that he wanted to do a quid pro quo. He's saying, I pardon you, you run as a Republican, or you don't run at all. But Cuellar didn't do that. Trump even admits that he never spoke to the guy, yet he wants his loyalty from him in return for doing what? For doing what he argues is the right thing, right? That's what he wants loyalty for? Like, what are you saying here, Donald? You wanted something out of Cuellar. You admit it right here. Why else would you complain about his lack of loyalty? It is such blatant corruption. It is just unfathomable. And then he ends by saying, no more Mr. Nice Guy, which is so, like, fourth grade bully talk. No more Mr. Nice Guy. I'm gonna be the mean guy now. You're Donald Trump. Everyone knows you as the complete asshole for who you are. You're not Mr. Nice Guy. But okay, Trump is no longer Mr. Nice Guy, which again, he has never been, unless your last name is like maybe Epstein. I don't know. For whatever reason that may be. I can't put my finger on it. Must have just been that really cool plane he had. Maybe he just had a great personality. I don't know. Cuellar, when questioned on his party affiliation and asked if he would ever consider switching parties, he said this on Fox News. God, I think it is so funny. This corrupt politician scammed another corrupt politician and now is free to run as a Democrat again because he got a complete and full pardon from the president that he scammed. I guess it takes one to know one, but Cuellar definitely kind of cooked Trump here. Now, Trump pardoning Cuellar makes a lot more sense, right? He wanted to gain an ally in Cuellar and someone who would do his bidding. Classic Trump style. But Cuellar, who, by the way, should have never been pardoned in the first place, it is kind of ridiculous, this whole thing, but he was, and now he has the freedom to run again, which is kind of hilarious to me because, yeah, both of these guys suck. I don't care that Cuellar is a Democrat. He was indicted on accepting nearly $600,000 of foreign bribes. Like, I don't care what party you're in. That's a crime. Like, that's super messed up and should not be accepted. And I'm not afraid to call out one if they're a Democrat or if they're a Republican, because even though I agree with the Democrats a lot more than I do the Republicans, they still got a whole lot of issues, and that's putting it lightly. Like, the Democrats clearly can be just as corrupt as the Republicans, and they can be shills for corporate donors as much as Republicans, and the Democrats just exploit expect people to vote for them because they're not Republicans, which isn't a great strategy long term, and I don't think it's going to fly for much longer. And getting someone like Cuellar, who is clearly corrupt, out of the party is a good strategy. It looks good for them to, root out all of their bad eggs while the Republicans just keep spiraling into this more and more corrupt authoritarian style of governance. But again, either way, it is just super funny to see Trump's pardon completely blow up in his face. People have taken to the internet to voice their opinions on this matter and just joke about this whole situation. One user on Twitter writes, "Henry Cuellar might be corrupt, but damn, he's a loyal Democrat and fooled Trump in a way few would have. LBJ would be proud." And I think that's funny. Cuellar literally mentions LBJ earlier in that clip that we showed. And yeah, LBJ known to be kind of a guy who would skirt the rules and do some things that may have not been the most couth, the most above board, but he got his message across. Another user posting, "Shout out to Congressman Henry Cuellar for scamming Donald Trump," and then it's a bunch of people just applauding, which, again, should we be applauding this guy? For this specific situation, sure, but in general, no. Some people are also questioning the pardon online clearly now after Trump made it very clear that he was doing this for his own gain. One user writing, "Trump was expecting to be paid back for this pardon, likely because he's been paid back for his other pardons. So what did he get in exchange for pardoning the crypto billionaire, the notorious drug trafficker, and the private equity fraudster?" Yeah, good point. I mean, Trump has pardoned by far more people than any recent president, so the question is he abusing the power here? I mean, yeah, but why exactly is he pardoning these people? And I think it is pretty clear he wants favors in return. Another user writes, "Ask Trump for pardon, implies he'll retire or party flip by not filing for re-election, gets the Trump pardon, immediately files for re-election as a Democrat, Trump mad." Some of y'all owe Henry Cuellar an apology. Hardly anyone has ever owned Trump as hard as this man. Now, do we owe Henry Cuellar an apology? No. But can we laugh at the situation? Yes, we can, because it is objectively really funny. One last user writing, here is Trump admitting an expectation of quid pro quo on pardons, which is an impeachable offense. True. He is flat out putting it in writing, and yet the current spineless Republican caucus will just pretend to not see it. Also kind of true. Yeah, I mean, this is a complete abuse of power, a complete corruption of the system, but are we surprised? It's Donald Trump. Just in general, it is truly priceless to see Trump get scammed like this. He is notorious for being such a huge asshole and such a scammer. I think we can all walk and chew gum here at the same time and say that, yes, Henry Cuellar is a corrupt politician that should not have been pardoned in the first place and should be kicked out of the ranks of the Democratic Party. But him getting back at Trump by running as a Democrat and Trump getting super pissed is really, really funny. So what can you do? But I think that's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for sticking around until the end of the video. I really do appreciate it. If you like this video or want to see more like it, be sure to leave a like on the video, comment down below what you think about this Trump crash out online, and be sure to subscribe to the Raw America YouTube channel. Have a nice day.